said Sarah. They both belong to the same clique. You know, the popular kids. They all sit together at lunch, and they're mean to everybody else. Oh, I'm so glad I'm out of high school, sighed Elizabeth. My friends don't like them very much, said Sarah, with a shrug. Even though they're the most popular, they're mean to each other, too. They're always saying nasty things about each other, even when they're ganging up on somebody else. I noticed they couldn't keep their eyes off of each other, said Elizabeth. Probably checking out their outfits, guessed Lucy. Maybe it's like Machiavelli said, mused Elizabeth. Who is Macaroni? Asked Zoe, joining the conversation. Machiavelli. He's a 15th century Italian philosopher. He said you should keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Lucy nudged Bill. And you were saying Chamberlain's too expensive. Look at the stuff she's learning. Well, muttered Bill, turning into the driveway. Let's see what sort of job she can get when she graduates. Mother's Day was definitely over, thought Lucy, surveying the kitchen as she poured her first cup of coffee on Monday morning. The pan Bill had used to fry himself a couple of eggs was still on the stove, coated with grease and burned on egg. One of the girls had slopped milk on the counter when she fixed herself a bowl of cereal. The table was covered with toast crumbs, and the dog had gotten into the garbage, scattering soggy tea bags, empty cans, and bits of empty food packages across the floor. Lucy was reaching for the sponge when Elizabeth appeared and asked if she could do a load of wash before leaving for Boston. I don't think there's time, said Lucy. I have to get to work by 9. But my bus isn't until 11. Can't you come home and take me then? I guess so, grumbled Lucy, thinking of her boss Ted's reaction. He'd been acting like a bit of a tartar lately, becoming a real stickler for punctuality and keeping a close eye on Lucy's time card. Unable to think of any other explanation, she'd chalked it up to male menopause. 2.5 hours later, it went exactly as she had imagined. Where the hell do you think you're going? He demanded, as she headed for the door with her keys in hand. Phyllis, the receptionist, who also handled classified ads and events listings, gave her a look. The listings are especially heavy this week, she said. I have to take Elizabeth to the bus. I'll be back in a flash, promised Lucy. Make sure you are, warned Ted. Lucy shrugged it off. She was already late, but she wondered what exactly he had in mind. Was he threatening to fire her? When she got home, Lucy found Elizabeth dressed and waiting impatiently for her ride, the clean clothes packed in a duffel. The kitchen, which she had tidied before leaving for work, was once again a mess, with the stove and countertop filled with dirty pots and mixing bowls. The fruit basket, which she had filled on Saturday, was empty. I hope you don't mind. I made some food to take back. Healthy stuff, like brown rice salad and grilled vegetables and fresh fruit. No problem, said Lucy, a bit grudgingly but unwilling to end Elizabeth's brief visit with an argument. Now, of course, she'd have to stop at the grocery on her way home from work, something she hadn't been planning to do. Lucy sighed and grabbed the cooler Elizabeth was borrowing to carry the food back to Boston. I thought you'd be glad I won't be eating fast food, said Elizabeth, grabbing the duffel and following her mother out the door. Sorry, I'm just distracted, said Lucy, starting the car. That was a fancy cooler she'd snagged at an end-of-season sale last fall. She'd never be able to replace it for what she'd paid. Yeah, I'm worried about Sarah, too, said Elizabeth, fastening her seatbelt. Lucy's head snapped around. Why are you worried about Sarah? She was up half the night, text messaging her friends. This was news to Lucy. What is she doing that for? It's what kids do now. Instead of talking on the phone, like we used to do, they use their cell phones to send text messages. That way nobody can overhear them. Nobody knows.